if you are in a situation in life where you feel like everything is just an absolute mess, this is for you. I'm talking about you feel like your house is a mess and your fitness situation is a mess, your health is a mess, your relationship is a mess. Like when everything is a mess and you don't know where to begin, I am about to walk you through the house when it was its absolute disaster phase. And it's literally embarrassing. I can't even believe I'm about to show you this. So, what is taking place here is we had just emptied out the old house. This one is still being renovated. So, knowing where to put stuff was challenging because it was kind of like any room that we want to move into, it's going to end up getting gutted. So, we can't really move in yet. Where do I put all the stuff? So, I actually recorded this because I thought I have been in situations, especially like when you have a bunch of little kids and they come with a lot of stuff. And just moving or renovating, I've done estate cleanouts when people live in houses for years at a time and you just accumulate things or just whatever. You don't even have to have little kids. Like humans, we like our stuff, right? So I have been in situations many times when I had to clean lots and lots and lots of stuff. So I recorded this just to show you what I actually do in the process in case you are living surrounded by tons of junk and you don't know where to begin to get organized. So, first up, we're going to get into that. I'm going to walk you through what eventually becomes the kitchen is currently the living room and the foyer, and it's just stuff everywhere. All right, so here's the thing with why I'm able to even share this. It's totally embarrassing. Everything is a disaster. It's actually fascinating how I'm able to ignore the mess in order to focus on the message and what's important. And I think that's true with every type of mess in our lives, where we can either be so consumed with what we see around us that we feel like defeated and incapable of taking the next step forward. So if you're focused on what's around you and you're so focused on current circumstances or you're focused on like the actual disaster, it's going to be just about impossible to find the steps within your head and heart to move forward. So, what I've noticed with every single thing that I've actually been able to take a disaster situation and make it a million percent better. I know a million percent isn't a thing. It has been because I've been able to see not just what's around me the way that it stands, but I am able to focus on what can become. So when you're dealing with a total mess in your life, whatever that mess is, you truly do have to be able to find the beauty in the current situation. And when you look for it, you're going to find it. So in this situation, I'm imagining the rooms clean. I'm imagining the rooms remodeled. If I were just overwhelmed by the disaster that I'm surrounded in, I probably would want to just curl up in the fetal position and do nothing. And I think that can happen in a lot of different aspects in life. So let's talk about how do we apply that concept to fitness for a second. Like, for instance, myself right now, I am 10 to 15 pounds heavier than my normal. I'm 45 years old. It happens. That's what they say, right? I have every other ad in my news feeds being GLP-1s. I feel like it's being shoved down my throat because I look at fitness stuff and my age. So they just assume I must also want to get on GLP-1s or Ozempic or whatever. I don't want to. I don't I'm okay currently being a little fluffier than usual, to be perfectly honest. Like, it's okay. It's okay with me because I know who I am despite the extra weight, and I know what I did to get the extra weight, and I also know what I need to do to get off the extra weight. So I don't want or need drugs shoved down my throat. So what does that have to do with looking at the mess? The mess in the middle is this middle in this particular situation. And the way that I'm going to overcome it, and I started actually already overcoming it, is seeing the beauty and what I already have, which is the knowledge and the ability to change. So the thing about change, whether the mess is in any kind of a situation, first of all, we have to be comfortable with the new thing. Um, I have heard that it takes 7 times to leave a toxic relationship before you actually truly leave the toxic relationship, because to leave the toxic relationship requires you to go to a space that is unfamiliar and unknown. And when we start a new diet plan, we have to start eating these foods that are unfamiliar and unknown. Or when we're taking on a renovation project, we're doing things to our house that make it feel unfamiliar and unknown. And nobody likes that feeling, right? So the steps with change is like you have to learn how to be comfortable being in a situation that feels different. And when you get there and it's like, "Oh, I don't like this. I would rather just be where it's known and comfortable." And so you kind of run back into the mess. That's when you recognize, like, okay, this is going to take some practice. It's going to take some practice, and giving yourself grace in that practice phase is going to be the make or break difference in actually accomplishing overcoming the mess. If I didn't give myself grace through disasters, I would not be the person that I am. And when I say the person I am, because I'm still an absolute mess, but like I'm, I guess at times, I don't want to say confident in my mess because it's not pretty, but I know who I am and I know that my value isn't dependent upon whatever it is that's going on around me. I actually had this weird little vision the other day, or I was like challenging myself because, like I said, I don't love the extra 10 to 15 pounds. I don't love the stress of messy situations. Um, so when I'm in something, I try to like get myself to think in a new way. And so the other day, I was going through something difficult and I started to just try to like walk my through self through imagining my life completely disconnected from my shell of a human and the people that I know and the house that I live in. Like if I were nothing but my actual true, like who or what is my true solid core self. If it wasn't about body or hair color or skin color or body type that I was born with or health situations that I was born with and my husband who I now have or the children that I now have, like if none of that impacted who I truly am, if my identity had nothing to do with circumstances, who am I truly? And that is where we need to get comfortable. Because when we're comfortable with our true inner selves, then the messes can exist around us and the messes can come and go and not destroy who we are within. All right, so that's my TED talk for today, but we're going to get into the messes. None of it's fun. It's totally embarrassing. And I'm sharing it with you because I want you to see the truth of building something new and making something better. It gets worse before it gets better. I compare it to cleaning out a closet. Like we can shove all the junk into a closet and the room stays clean. The room is beautiful. The day we want to clean out that closet, we trash the whole room because we have to pull everything out of the closet, and that's messy, but it can't get better until it gets worse. So when you're in the middle of something that you're trying to improve your life with, you're trying to make it better, you're exhausted from trying to make it better, don't break down in the middle when it gets messier before it gets better, because the mess is a sign that you're actually doing the work that it takes to make it better. All right, so here's to our messes, embracing them with grace and taking it on one baby step at a time. Midnight design notes. This is what's going to happen. Island is still here. Kitchen is all still here. Stove is still here. The big cabinet thing I bought is going to go here. That's going to be for your dishes. Fridge and freezer are going here. My concern is that this fireplace is not centered on the wall, and I don't want it to be obvious. Lighting in this room. Some sort of lighting under this window because the sink will be here. Furniture will be less important. Counters, huge priority. All right, notes for this room. All right, entryway. I really wanted like a beautiful sideboard here with 2 lamps on either side and my giant beautiful mirror hanging above it. And then I realized, wow, I already have the sideboard. I think this piece will fit perfectly in this corner because I did initially want to build in a closet. Half bath here we have to keep budgeting for. I want the walls to go straight up as far as I can, and then I want those beams to just tuck into the bathroom. Okay, so in here, this is going to be, I think the TV will always live in this corner. The desk will be there. Our bed will be here. My green sofa there. And then, I don't know if I'm going to keep a door here or not. Bathroom. So this will be the tub, and then his sink, her sink. The current space is exactly, I believe, the space layout. This will all be DC's storage closet. We walk into here, there's a wall that comes out, and then over here becomes my closet. I've been told by 3 different people so far that this is a $10,000 shower remodel. That's why shower pans can be problematic. Or they used to be because they didn't know what they were doing. Now they're starting to know what they're doing. It takes so much work to do in my brain what I just said I'm going to do. And it'll be fun when I get to re-walk through this and it's all done. Okay, goodbye. Okay, so what do you actually do when you're organizing lots and lots of junk like this? This is my advice for organizing a lot of stuff. Okay, so first of all, you kind of have to break every single thing down into categories. Think of it as a place like Walmart or Meijer where there is pretty much anything that would go into a person's house and it's always categorized. So like if you come up upon a thing and you don't know what to do with it, think, okay, where does it live in a store? And then you organize your entire home in those same types of categories. So you're going to have a closet for your cleaning supplies, and that might also include some light bulbs and stuff like that, paper products, you know how it's all in the same general vicinity within a store. And sometimes when you're organizing, like if you're really doing a whole reorganize the entire house project, it gets worse before it gets better because you almost need to start with one of your closet areas, pull everything out of there, and then have that one closet designated for, you know, we'll go back to the cleaning supplies or whatever. So just kind of walk through your house. Sometimes it's good to have paper and pen, make a list, evaluate, okay, what do I have here? What do I have there? And just start going through the stuff. And this is where it gets hard because we don't ever want to let things go. We are way too attached to our stuff. And at the end of the day, our stuff does not matter. Part of me wishes it would all just disappear. We don't need this. Nobody's playing with this. This is literally an empty box. Why? Why do we have an empty box? Oh, because it has the directions for how to put the thing together. The directions are also right here. And do you think they're ever going to actually do this? Probably not, because it's probably 7 different Lego sets all mixed together in one box. If it hasn't been done by now and it's been 5 years, like chances are it's never going to happen. So this is when we say, okay, garbage, and we throw it away. Look how much better. Now the Legos in a container on a shelf are going to look so much better than like literal trash thrown in there. These glasses, for instance, I used to own a vintage store, so I have all these random things, which I have actually done kind of amazing at getting rid of most of my stuff from my store. Do I really need this? And the answer is going to be no. And then your other self in your head is going to say, but I'm going to have that fancy dinner party one day. And then your other self that's logical is going to say there are only 4 in here. So even if you have the fancy dinner party, what is this going to do? It's not going to do anything. It's not going to match anything else. So it's time to let it go, Sarah. And then you just coach yourself through over and over and over again. But the faster you do it, the better, because the goal is to get rid of it. And as soon as it's out of sight, I promise you it's out of mind. And then you're left with a lovely, clean, organized space. And with that comes a lovely, clean, and organized brain. Yay! All right, you guys, we need to get rid of toys and things because we're cleaning. So it's time to get rid of some stuff that we have. Tallulah, are you going to take care of your toys? George, what's up? We have all these toys here, and I don't think you guys play with them. We got to throw them away. You obviously like these toys because they're everywhere. And that toy. And this tissue paper. And that. But these are always left in here. Would you like it? Or do I give it away to the other doggies in the world that don't have toys? Okay. 1 hour later, we have an entire corner. I can see floor. Yay! Woohoo! I'm down to just the construction stuff, but it feels so good. Okay, it took an hour, so there's that. Maybe an hour and 15 minutes with interruptions, realistically. But I can see the floor again. Hooray! There you have it. 10 more minutes of work. And it's even better. All right, so I got to be totally honest, because even though this one corner feels a whole lot better, this is still so overwhelming, and it's a little bit discouraging because I'm telling myself, like, dang, I just worked for like an hour and a half and I still have almost an hour and a half. That's really not that long, and I've got one space. So if I want to evaluate now how long it's going to take to do all of this, maybe another hour and a half here, and then about 3 hours there, 3 hours there. And then I know I've got, 7.5 plus a little buffer. So maybe like 8 hours of work that I need to do here. And then I can evaluate and look at my calendar and determine when I have those 8 hours. Set a timer if you have a big project. Give yourself at least 1 hour. Focus on that thing. And then evaluate how far you got in that hour. And then you'll be able to kind of get a general idea of how long the entire project is going to take you. I have the space in my home set aside first, and I bring all of the things in that category to the space, and then I get to evaluate how much do I actually get to keep. But the stuff never wins over the storage space. If the stuff wins over the storage space and you're renting a storage unit, and you're probably going to waste money keeping all this junk that nobody needs for years. which makes no logical sense at all. Sometimes storage units are amazing and they're very helpful and they're very purposeful. Always evaluate the cost of the stuff that you're saving. I've seen people's storage units, that's why I can say this. Right now, it's my temporary bedroom. It has 3 colors of paint on the wall. It's horrifying to look at. It has a fake fireplace in front of a real fireplace. This is where we sleep at night. This is what it's like to live in a freaking renovation. It's so not fun. So when you get to see all the after videos and how beautiful it is, these are the reminders of, do you really want to go through all this? Sometimes the answer is going to be absolutely yes. And then another time, for a different season of life, you might be like, yeah, I should probably just pay full price for the house that's move-in ready. So you get to decide. Behind this dresser is a wall, and behind this wall, we are going to cut it open to create access into the crawl space so that I can get the kitchen moved from this side of the house over here to this side of the house over here. And geez Louise, it all sounds crazier than it is, but it's gonna be great when it's done.